Greetings everyone, I am Dimitrik and welcome to today's episode of Fryderykraft. Now, unfortunately, the season of Halloween is waning, but nevertheless, we did get some amazing progress done in our city, such as this building behind me, the Haunted Mansion, which we have done the interior of, and it is a little bit wet outside, so I might as well enter and get a roof over my head. Well, is that not ominous? Did something happen in this house? Peculiar. Right. Let us leave this place immediately. Anyways, as I was saying, we got some amazing progress building some mansions along this street right here overlooking the future park, and in this episode we are building another mansion, except this one will be more of a older 15th or 16th century mansion instead of these more modern Victorian era mansions. So now I haven't used this place in a while, but we will be going over to the government offices in the central business district. Here we are in front of our government offices in Wren Street, as you can see. Finally, I can be inside, nice and warm after I was drenched by the downpour outside. And here we arrive at our Urban Planning Commission office, which was built several months ago, but I have yet to use it. And I built this specifically so that there is a point of reference to those of you on like where things in the city are. So in the last episode, we did some progress on this area in the north part of the island. Now, I haven't updated the maps since these maps were created, so bear with me here as it might be a little bit difficult to have any reference on what we are doing. So what are we doing in today's episode? Well, over on the eastern end of our city, we have the island of Glessing, which this map isn't fully updated as we have built some buildings here, here, and especially in the middle of the island, where we have a Gothic church which was constructed in the past two episodes. Now, I would like to direct our attention to the north end of our island, where we will be building a great hall from around the 1500s, which will be very nice and serve as the administrative part for this neighborhood of the city. It appears that the torrent has subsided, so in the morning, I will take you over to the site and possibly update these maps as they have gone unupdated since August, and depending on when you watch this video or when I release it, it will be November, so these will need to be updated. Now you may see a little bit better what we are working with. So you can see the island has been a little bit more detailed after we have updated our maps, but now I would like to go over to our site. Now that we have arrived, we are here at our site where I would like to build what I have described before as a great hall. So it will be a brick building that is around 25 blocks wide. So from around here to nearly the edge of the island. Now, there isn't a lot of space to build this, so if you look closely, there are some blocks laid out in the water which were placed here several years ago for eventual island expansion, but I have never gone through with that yet until now. So the first thing I would like to do is fill in this area of the island so that we have a nice flat area for us to build our building. And with our new space on the island, we may begin construction on our building. So today we'll be building a Tudor era house, which will be sort of like a country home, except in the city. So I guess that is just a normal mansion, but it'll be composed of 3 tiers, with the materials being brick with birch accents, with a diorite section right here in the middle. Now, the 3 sections may be a little bit repetitive as they are mostly the same, but that adds to its older charm. Nonetheless, it will be a great addition to the city. And here is our new mansion, or should I say old mansion, as this was built hundreds of years ago. It is called Glessing Hall, as it is built on the island of Glessing. So the story goes is that hundreds of years ago, Edwardsford over there and Glessing over here used to be 2 independent cities that were not yet unified at the time, and the latter was a monarchy who built this palace at the expense of its citizens, but after hundreds of years, it is now a nice piece of architecture for the entire city to enjoy. I think it turned out very nicely, especially with the middle section there creating some contrast with the rest of the building. But coming over here, I'll give you a view from the side as well as the back as it comes into view. Oh, this is actually a hole for a street lamp, which is yet to be placed. But anyways, here is the side view of our house, and the back there overlooking the ocean, where centuries ago, oh my goodness, where centuries ago the House of Glessing would look onto the ocean from their view, uninterrupted by the peasants living on the island. So the next part of the video is over here. We have this little area marked out right here where some buildings will be going. So what I would like to do is over here we'll have this nice brick building that will be overlooking the strait right here, have some diagonals, and over here will be another building which I plan to make out of birch, and both of them will be a little bit shorter than this building right here as not to overshadow it, as we would like a nice view of our build. We don't want to cover it up immediately after we built it. So now I will begin construction and come back once these buildings have been erected. And building that has added to making this area a little bit more complete looking, with this nice brick building over here as we cross our bridge right along the water. So if we take a step back, we get a nice view of our brick building right there. You can see all the details up there. Had to get creative as we did have to build on a diagonal. So you have these very small windows made with walls, which you cannot normally do unless you have access to a debug stick or world edit, which of course we don't have as we are on Bedrock. Now, I did say that I wish we didn't block off the view of the hall, but that is exactly what we did. Well, not completely, but we do have this birch Georgian building right here, which blocks off a third of the building. So if you're walking down from this street over here, actually the church blocks off most of it, so it's as if nothing ever happened. But a lot of the building is blocked off, and unfortunately even more will be blocked off as there will be buildings built here. So after we take a nice look at this building, we have these nice arched windows and used some birch signs to make some coins. Very nice and small. Probably very impractical in Minecraft though, as the interior is tiny, but there are smaller buildings. So the next thing we'll be doing in this episode is, I don't know why it's so framey right now, but the next thing we'll be doing is over here we will build another building, and as you can see I have laid out where this little shop front area will be going. Now, this street right here will still exist, as I will make a little arch right here for you to be able to walk through and access this area near the sea. But the rest will be about 2 floors above the ground floor, not as tall as the other buildings, but they'll be nice with 4 windows, and Nice roof. I don't know what material. I'm thinking of making it out of either dirt or brick. Now, this building over here, I do not have a very good idea on what I am building. I don't even have anything laid out, but I am thinking about making a building out of bricks again. It's the third building in this episode using bricks, but I don't currently have an idea and will probably just get built as soon as I get an idea to do so, but that won't really matter because the buildings will be completed promptly. And if we turn around, we have our two buildings here completed. We have done a lot of infill on this island, but here are our two buildings over here. This one right here, as I said, was made out of dirt, and we have these nice columns that go up, and we have this nice shop front, very cozy and quaint, and this little passageway that leads out to the waterfront. Coming back over here, we have this nice, lovely brick Georgian building right here. Looking very nice. It's very simple, but yet it is very elegant. Over here we have the houses along the water looking very nice. If I fly out, you can have a better look at the houses lining the water. As you can see, it looks very nice and lovely. Then, coming back through here, we have a nice shop, and this adds a very nice degree of completion to the island. Now, I plan one final build for this episode on our little island, and this very small plot of land right here, very skinny, we'll have to be creative on making a building here, but I plan for there to be a very thin brick storehouse for putting materials such as dirt or stone or other of those bulk materials that I need large quantities of. So over here, I want to make a very nice skinny brick building. Maybe might even look a little bit Dutch or Flemish with a nice little pointed gable right there. And I think it will have a very nice addition to the water right here, as we have these buildings along it, and this space is a little bit empty and it's not quite big enough to make a house, especially since it is a diagonal, but I would like to put something there, so I will get to building that and come back when that is completed. And here we have our beautiful storehouse with Dr. Crow flying overhead, or as I should say, over water, but I do think this building turned out very nice, and I do like it a lot. It is very detailed for a building whose utility is just for storing items. Of course, I have not made the inside. That will come sometime in the future, but I really do like how it turned out. Lots of details for such a small building, and it is built on a diagonal, so bonus points for that. This does look like one of those Flemish buildings you'd see along the canals of Ghent, looking very nicely, very thin, and the lovely gable at the top. And that completes our little area along the water where you could take a stroll along this promenade and see the buildings on the other side on the island of Glessing. And I actually really like this view right here. Looks very nice with the church tower in the background. Very nice. Now, unfortunately, the time has come. It is now November, and it is time for us to take down our Halloween decorations, but fear not, Christmas is around the corner, and once winter comes, we will decorate accordingly, so do not be too sad on the season's departure, as we will welcome a new one shortly. In fact, maybe even within the next 2 episodes, we will have a nice white Ericton with snow lining the streets looking very lovely. So I will go ahead and take down the decorations to finish off our episode. And atop our church spire, we can view the city and observe that it has returned to its classic splendor. We have enjoyed the festiveness whilst it has lasted, but up here you can also see all the work we have done in this lovely episode, where half of this island was empty. Well, not half, but this entire area north of the church was empty, and we have done some amazing infill in this episode. And with that, I would like to go over to our planning building with all our maps and update the map with our island so that we can see the progress that we have done. And we are here with an unupdated map of our city. You can see that the decorations are still visible on the map, especially the skulk. And in the corner, we have our island here with a lot of green on the northern tip, as this is before we have updated the map with none of the buildings showing so far. So let us take this map. And then walking towards our island, you can see that the map is slowly updating and our buildings will be coming into view shortly. There, you can see the grass is getting consumed by our urban expansion. And there we have our map, much more complete, and the city feels much more alive and connected. You love to see it. We have done some amazing progress in this lovely city of ours. And now our map is fully up to date. And I would like to thank you if you have made it this far in this video. We have done some amazing progress, finishing up the northern tip of the island of Glessing right there, creating a brand new palace, or old palace that has been there for hundreds of years, but it adds a lot of history to the city and makes the city feel much more connected. This area is very close to the spawn, so having it empty isn't too great, so we have gotten that taken care of, and we have just done some amazing things in this episode, and I thank you for watching, and please do leave a like or a comment if you wish so, and I will see you in the next episode. Farewell.